A massive upset has happened in the Australian Open semi-final. Breaking news: Novak Djokovic, world number one Novak Djokovic, has lost in the semi-final of the Australian Open to Italy's Janik Sinner in 4 sets. Djokovic's quest for a record 11th Australian Open title and a world record 25th Grand Slam title has been stalled. Yes, that is the latest situation we are getting at this point. It is a monumental upset. It is a colossal moment when you have to look at the Australian Open because Yannick Sinner in the past, just at the fag end of 2023, has troubled Novak Djokovic with 2 losses. In the ATP finals, Djokovic did get the better of Sinner, but now in the Australian Open, in Novak's own turf, if you look at it, he has beaten him in 4 straight sets. 1-6, 2-6. Somehow, Djokovic stayed alive in the tiebreaker that was there in the third set, 8-6. But Sinner proved to be way too strong in the fourth set. Broke Djokovic 5-3, serving for the match. He served it out effortlessly. And because of that, it is a rare moment that you see. Because if you just look at the statistics overall, Novak Djokovic's dominance in the Australian Open, this is just his 9th loss. In the last 19 years that you're seeing Novak Djokovic play, he has lost only 9 times in Melbourne. And consider this fact also. Ever since 2011 onwards, he's lost only 5 times. The last time he suffered a loss in the Australian Open, trivia for you guys, he lost in the 4th round to South Korea's Hyung Chung, that too in straight sets in the 4th round. But since then, 2019, 2020, 2021, he won the title consistently. 2022, he was absent because he did not follow the COVID vaccination policy, and that is why he will miss that event. 2023, he reclaimed his crown. Now in 2024, Yannick Sinner of Italy has beaten him in 4 titanic sets. And it is an apt reflection of why Sinner was touted as one of the guys to beat Djokovic. Because if you look at it, after the end of the US Open, in the ATP finals that happened prior to that, in the group stages, Yannick Sinner had beaten Novak Djokovic and was almost about to put him on the cusp of elimination. But then Djokovic bounced back and then he defeated Sinner in the finals to ensure he got a breaking 6th ATP finals. Now, because of this, Novak Djokovic was expected to be put up on a tough fight when you look at it. But now, Yannick Sinner has shown that yes, he is the answer if you have to beat Djokovic on a consistent basis. Not many people have a positive head-to-head record against Novak Djokovic, especially when you look at the Australian Open. 94 wins for Novak Djokovic, just 8 losses prior to this. Now, 9th loss, and Yannick Sinner has just about done it. I mean, if I have to just tell you guys, what is the statistics that is there at this point? Now, look at Djokovic's progress. Who? He made his Australian Open debut in 2005. 2005 onwards, 19 years, as I said, only 9 losses. I mean, 2005, this has been his progress, Novak Djokovic, in the last 19 years. First round in 2005, first round in 2006, 4th round in 2007. After that, he won in 2008. That was the start of the Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, the trilogy that was there. Quarterfinal appearances in 2009 and 10 meant that, okay, maybe he was in danger of being only a one slam wonder. But then 11, 12, 13, he completed a hat trick. After that, 2014, another quarterfinal exit, 2 wins in 2015 and 2016, 2nd round, 4th round, and after that, 3 consecutive from 2019, 2020, 2021, absent in 22, and now 2023, he won it. No 11th, no 25th for Novak Djokovic. It stays. And has now the trilogy been truly broken, Nikhil? Because there is a kryptonite in the form of Yannick Sinner.
No, I think that we saw a very unusual Novak Djokovic today. The amount of unforced errors that he was doing, taking nothing away from Yannick Sinner, and I will definitely be the last one to take any credit away from him, considering that I had predicted Yannick Sinner to be the guy who would beat Novak Djokovic. I just wish I had placed a bet as well, then I would have been a rich man.
You would have been a millionaire today.
Yeah, unfortunately, I tried, but I could not find an avenue to do it since it's illegal in India. So could not do it. So I'm not taking, but I still did not expect Novak Djokovic, because he's a guy. What's his strength? His strength is not to make errors.
Yes.
He runs around. Of course, he hits a lot of winners. He hits the lines more consistently than any other player that I've seen. His resilience, his mental fortitude, all of that we know about. But one thing you know, that he'll make least amount of errors and force his opponents to do that. The amount of double falls, simple errors, hitting the nets, I've never seen it in the past. And it's not that Sinner was forcing him to do those. Some of them were unforced errors, like careless errors, which you rarely see from a Novak Djokovic. I don't know whether, he knew. Again, as I said, I man-to-man had picked Sinner to beat Novak Djokovic, but not in the fashion that Novak Djokovic played today. Had he, Sinner did hit a lot of good winners, but had he kept putting a lot of pressure and forcing Novak Djokovic to make errors, I would have still understood. But unforced errors from Novak Djokovic, I can't put a finger on to why that would have happened. That was unusual. But that he would win, Sinner would win so easily, he was unexpected. Could have won very well in straight sets. That tiebreaker also had a chance to close out the match. But as you know, with Novak makes a comeback. The only other thing that I now kind of see with Novak Djokovic, and dare I say, I thought that he was invincible. Even when he lost to Alcaraz in the Wimbledon final, I thought still he's the best player around. But for now, with the way Sinner has beaten him, I can see a few problem areas creeping in, or a few weak areas coming into Novak Djokovic's game. So first time, to me, he's feeling like he's fallible. To me, it's feeling like that he can be beaten. And dare I say, this could be like, just as he turned a corner in his start of his career. Remember, there was Novak Djokovic initially till 2010, 11 onwards. He had won a couple of Grand Slams, but he was a Novak Djokovic who would come, play well, win some, lose more. Then there was a turnaround 2010 onwards, 11, 12, where he was a different beast, and from there on he kept building to almost reaching a place where he was invincible.
Yes.
But now I think that was turning of one corner, and I think this is that turning of one corner, where now he will be competitive. He will be one of the top players, but he won't be invincible. There will be guys who will trouble him, whether it will be a Medvedev someday, whether it will be a Zverev someday, whether it will be a Sinner someday, or Alcaraz someday. But now I think the pack has caught up. The pack has caught up, and it's going to be now an even fight.
It remains
A quick stat.
Yeah.
After 2,195 days, as he lost at the Australian Open.
Yeah,
Yes, I mean,
which was 2018.
2018, he had lost to Cheongzong of South Korea in the fourth round in 3 sets.
Yeah.
You know that there was a moment, right, Nikhil, and we have seen a lot of tennis, when Roger Federer defeated a certain Pete Sampras in the fourth round in Wimbledon.
Yep.
That was dubbed as the passing of the torch moment. Is Janik Sinner's victory, and looking at the consistency with it, remember he beat him in the ATP finals group stages. Now he's beaten him even here in a stage where he thought he was invincible. Do you think this is the passing of the torch moment?
No, I think it's the passing of the torch moment in terms of the generation.
Yeah.
But am I picking Jannik Sinner to be that Roger Federer? I'm not sure. I think I need to see a lot more of him. He needs to win a Grand. He's not won a slam as yet, so he needs to win a few slams before you can give him that particular tag that he's the next big thing. I'm not sure. But all I will say is that it's the passing of the torch to the generation.
Yes.
Because for the longest time we kept saying, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic.
Yeah.
When is the next generation going to step up? You had once in a while winners here and there, all right. But there was no consistency. Now, with what you've seen with Alcaraz, with what you're seeing with a Medvedev, with what you're seeing with a Sinner, I think these could be the guys going forward who now will be at even keel. So now that edge that Djokovic had, like most matches that you would sit and say, Djokovic versus XYZ, I'd say, close my eyes, 9 times out of 10, Djoko is winning, barring a miracle, right? That's what I would say. Now I think when he faces some of these guys, I'm not going to say that. I will say, no, it's a 50-50 game. I'll say it's a 60-40 game, 55-45 game. I think that level has been now reached with this young generation.
Yeah, I mean, this is truly, we could see a next exciting generation, as Nikhil pointed out, in the form of Alcaraz. Already Alcaraz has won 2, and remember, I think he's rather unlucky that he got blown away by, you may say, Zverev in the quarterfinal. I
No,
think.
but Zverev himself is at a different level.
Yeah.
See, I think Zverev had reached that level a couple of years ago till he faced that setback against Nadal where he had that injury.
Yes.
That time only Zverev had reached that level. But that setback pushed him another year or so. But I think that's now done, or he's back to that level that he had reached there, where he was competing, shoulder to shoulder with these guys. I think he's reached there. So Zverev is that other guy. Sinner is that other guy who could compete. Alcaraz, of course, is that. Medvedev also. I think Medvedev is there and thereabouts. He's been unlucky in a few finals.
Yep.
He's made Grand Slam finals, been unlucky there. But I think he's also there because I like his mental strength, mental attitude.
Yeah,
So there are a few guys that have reached that level.
Exactly. First time ever Djokovic has lost in the semi-finals of the Australian Open. That itself suggests once he gets through to the knockout stages, he's almost invincible to beat. And he's never lost in the final though here. Every time he's reached the final, he has won. Quarterfinals or semi-finals, that's where he's kind of vulnerable. But here, congratulations to Janik Sinner. I mean, the big booming serves. And one of our family members pointed out, KK, do you get that impression that Djokovic looked fatigued? Would he look tired?
Could be. He's had a few tough matches. He's not used to
Yeah.
that. He's not used to that. He's used to reaching, semi-final stages, sometimes straight sets.
Yep.
Maybe a set or two that he's lost. But he's already had a few tough games. If I remember his first round in this Australian Open itself, even though it was a 4-set affair against that youngster, I forget his name, but even that went over 3 hours.
Yes.
So he's consistently being pushed by everyone that he's faced. Even his game, a couple of matches before this, he was pushed on to tougher games where he's lost a set or two. That will take a toll. He's not, again, he's aging. We're just talking about his record at Australian Open, 19 years.
Yeah.
19 years he's been playing. So you know that he's much closer to the end than where he was at the beginning. I'm not saying he's anywhere close to the retirement with the fitness that he's showing. I think he has a good 2-3 years still ahead of him.
Yep.
At peak fitness is what I'm talking about. He may continue to play even after that, but I'm talking about peak fitness where he can compete with the youngsters, maybe another couple years that he still has. But now the pack has caught up.
Yep.
And so that will make it tougher and tougher for you to win. And that's where I think the younger guy comes in. Because if you're going to be playing 4-setters most of the time in all your games, and by the time you reach semis, the other guys also played those long matches. But because he's much younger,
Yes.
he will prevail. And that will happen. And imagine, even if he had won this, it would have been tougher even in the final because he had to win a 5-setter here to win this.
I know.
And then imagine whoever he's going to be playing, whether it's Medvedev or Zverev,
Yep.
wouldn't have been easy.
And remember, Medvedev denied Djokovic the Grand Slam. I mean, if you run 2021, lost in the US Open in straight sets. And looking at this new generation is now very, very exciting. But yes, the broad stats is that no Grand Slam number, Australian Open Grand Slam number 11 for Djokovic. The wait for an unprecedented 25th Grand Slam continues because he's level with Margaret Court for the most number of Grand Slams in the Open era. 25 will have to wait
I
now.
think he will get to 25. As I said, it's the passing of the torch, yes, to the generation. I think he still has a slam or two in him easily before he is like overtaken by the guys. Because right now he'll be, at least for a year, 2 years, he'll be at that level to win slams. But it'll be a fight. It won't be as easy as last time around where he won 3 out of the 4 slams
Of course,
and reached the final of all 4.
Yep.
It's not going to be that easy. But that is to say there will be a even split of those slams between players. But he'll still be competitive.
Remember,
25 will come.
Yeah, 24 is a very important year for Djokovic because remember, not just 25, he's aiming for also something which only Andre Agassi has achieved, and that is the Super Career Grand Slam. What is the Super Career Grand Slam? Olympic singles gold, ATP singles titles, which he's already won, all the 4 Grand Slams. Djokovic has done all that except the Olympic gold. And this is an Olympic year, Paris, which will be played in Roland Garros. So if he can get the Olympic gold, he'll match Andre Agassi then.
And now it'll be tougher.
It'll be tougher, yes, with Sinner, Alcaraz, Medvedev, Zverev, all these 4 coming up now. Instead of the trio, who knows, in the coming years, we could have the quartet dominating tennis.
Could be.
Could happen. So, yes.
And there are a few other young guns coming up. They'll take a few years because they
Yeah.
need that experience. But
But I
they
think
are.
these 4 are right up there now, if you have to look at
because they've got the experience also now.
Yes, 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 yes.
Of having won titles and playing consistently. I mean, exactly how it happened with Novak Djokovic. He had won a slam or two, but he really came into his own after a good 7-8 years
Yeah.
on tour, competing, winning a slam. I think he had won the US as well as the Australian. but still wasn't like in the league of a Nadal
Yeah.
as well
I
as
mean, if
Federer.
you-
But from there, just turned it on.
Yeah, I mean, he won in 2008.
Australia,
Yeah.
he won 2010 US.
No, he were lost in the finals. He lost in the final in 2010. His breakthrough year was 2011, where he won
Yes,
Grand
but before
Slams.
that, had he won a slam
No,
other
no.
than other slam? So there was only that one Australian
Yeah.
Open slam.
He lost in the US Open finals twice to Federer.
Ah, correct. Finals.
Yeah, 2009-7 he lost to Federer, and then after that he lost to 2010 to Nadal. So that is why he won 3 Grand Slams in 2011, 3 Grand Slams in 2015. He won only the Australian.
11 is that year.
Yeah.
He just
Yes.
turned it around.
So that is why. And he won 3 Grand Slams in 2021 also. So that's why Djokovic now, it's rare that you see him lose the first slam of the year. So, and
That
look
to
at-
Australian Open, his
Yeah.
stuff. It's like how, Wimbledon was to Federer, French Open to Nadal.
Nadal.
It was Australian Open to Novak
Yep.
Djokovic.
So that's the situation. 2018. We
It's
are
as
seeing
big
this.
as Nadal losing in the French,
Yes.
Joko losing at the
I
Australian.
know. First time we are doing a live breaking where Novak Djokovic has lost the Australian Open. He's not happy. It's not happened
Usually
since
it's always
2018.
he's won another title.
He's won another title. Yes, yes. So, congratulations, Janik Sinner. We will have, I think,
There's the other semi-final little
Yeah.
later in the day.
22 was Nadal, right? Who won the Australian Open? It was 22
Yes.
Nadal.
Yes.
So we are going to have a new winner minus Roger Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. I
Yes.
think for the first time since 2010. If memory serves me right, 2010 you're going to have a new guy winning minus Djokovic, Federer, Nadal.
Yep.
That's how monumental this is. So we'll switch focus for things, but lots of stuff coming your way. A lot of cricket action, a lot of news coming your way. Stay tuned to Sports Today for all that, and tap that bell icon so when we go live. And don't forget we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and also lovely folks in the Sports mobile app. Download that as well. And from Nikhil and me, it's bye bye. We'll be back soon.